Watch as we address the question, how can meditation now activate world change?
Transmission meditation, if you decide to do it, it will provide you with a simple yet powerfully effective way to serve the plan of evolution for the world, to serve humanity, and to help get us through this very chaotic time that we are all living through. In my estimation, if you do it, you will benefit personally as well. Transmission meditation is just a gift from the gods. I say run, don't walk, to your nearest transmission meditation group.
And that was a foretaste of this episode of the Planetary Makeover Show. In response to the growing voices of an awakening humanity, we bring you evidence that divine help is at hand to work with us to create a hopeful future that works for everyone.
Welcome. I'm your host, David Mynott II, for a very unusual episode on meditation. Whether you are a regular meditator or just feel drawn to it, I'll start with some basics that various meditations share. Prayer is understood as asking for something from the spiritual kingdom, while meditation is a silent soul contact with the spiritual kingdom, where you can come up with your own answers and grow in service to mankind. You may have heard the phrase before, prayer is talking to God, meditation is listening. Most people use the terms mind and brain interchangeably, as if they're the same thing. They are not. Throughout the day, your five senses give your brain information which can reach your higher mind, also known as the sixth sense, which has access to your soul and from there to the spiritual kingdom. To oversimplify it, your higher mind or sixth sense is a receiving station between the brain and the spiritual kingdom. It's a two-way street. Another common misunderstanding about meditation is that you have to suppress your thoughts and emotions, often referred to as monkey mind. While it is true that successful meditation only occurs when the thoughts and emotions are still, trying to make them that way only makes it worse. Instead, with the powers of the higher mind, the intellect is trained to focus on what it wants, not what it doesn't. By focusing one-pointed awareness on an object, either a physical image from your spiritual beliefs, or on a candle as light, or on a mental object that your meditation teacher may have given you to focus on. When you are fully one-pointed and using the will to stay that way and focusing on the deeper meaning of that physical or mental object, the thoughts and emotions naturally become quiet. There are many great meditation methods, but I know of only one whose sole purpose is of being of service to all of mankind. I've referred to it as an activist meditation. Today, Krista Peres will tell us about it while she's interviewed in audio from our earlier show, Share-on-the-Air Radio. The one marvelous thing about this meditation, called transmission meditation, is that it requires no prior experience, no obligations, and no money. Whether your current practice is religious or spiritual or agnostic or another form of meditation, transmission meditation neither replaces nor detracts from those. In fact, it actually enhances them. At the end, be sure to stay tuned to the show for an experience of transmission meditation, which we will do together
Welcome indeed, everyone. This is Diana Gold Holland, broadcasting from semi-cloudy Vancouver today. Hope you're all well and you've had a good week. I'm very excited for this week's production because we're going to be talking about transmission meditation, which is literally a gift from the gods. My guest this week is Krista Peres, like Paris.
Like France.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, Krista. Good to have you.
Hi, Diana.
So Krista has been a participant in transmission meditation and a teacher of it for many, many years, decades even. And she lives in Atlanta, Georgia. She's a good friend of mine, and I'm really glad to invite her to the show today. So, but first of all, for the benefit of our new listeners, I'd like to just spend a couple of minutes putting the background of our show out to you so that you'll have some familiarity when we get down to the topic. And for those who are our regular listeners, I ask you to bear with me during this short introduction to our premises and perhaps think back to when you first heard the news that I'm going to just now say. So, first of all, I welcome both new and old listeners to the program, and I present that we have three premises to our show. One is that humanity is not alone. We never have been. We are not alone, and we have aid of an extraordinary nature at this particular time because, as we all know, our Mother Earth is going through a very difficult transition, and so is humanity. So this aid has been called for by humanity, and it comes at the beginning of every age. Just as now the age of Aquarius is beginning, we, humanity, have called in extra help to help us through this difficult time. And that help comes in the form of masters of wisdom. These are perfected beings who have gone beyond us, or before us actually, into a higher evolution, and who turn back nonetheless to come and aid us with the difficult problems that we're dealing with today. They are perfected, which means that they have gained mastery over themselves and beyond themselves, mastery of nature and science, for example. They are omniscient and full of compassion. In fact, they are sometimes called the Lords of Compassion. So they are here now. They are emerging onto the world scene gradually, and at their head, as their leader, stands the Lord Maitreya. I'll spell that for you, Maitreya, the Lord Maitreya, who was indeed foretold to come at this time by the Buddha Gautama, who announced that he would come in a time of iniquity to show the light. So we'll be talking about the Masters of Wisdom a little later, but the important thing is with transmission meditation is that we get to work directly with them to help save the planet and our humanity. So without further ado, I'll get down to letting Krista take the floor. Krista, let's talk about meditation in general first.
Okay.
What is it and why do we do it?
Good question. That's the place to start for sure. So meditation of whatever kind, and I think we all are aware that there are hundreds of different kinds of meditations throughout the world. And the purpose of meditation of whatever kind is to bring the man or woman in incarnation into closer and closer contact with his or her own soul, and the goal is at one-ment with the soul. So we are men and women in incarnation, and our souls have come into incarnation, sometimes as a man, sometimes as a woman, sometimes as a succession of lives as a man or woman, and the goal is always to bring us into closer and closer contact with our souls. It is the nature of the soul to serve,
and that is why it comes into incarnation. And transmission meditation is a way to serve the plan of evolution. So whether we know it or not, some of your listeners may be aware that they are already in touch with their souls, and their souls have brought them into a meditation of whatever kind. But your newer listeners may not know that, but perhaps they're listening because they're interested, and I would venture to say that that is the reason that they're listening to your show now, Diana, is that their souls are prompting them to do meditation of some kind.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Krista. And, we're not saying that our souls hit us over the head by a 2x4. It's not exactly in that way that we get drawn into meditation. The soul has subtler ways of contacting us. So if you're not hearing voices in your head, you're doing fine, listeners, not to worry. But, okay, so the soul seeks to serve. The soul seeks to serve through its vehicle, the man or woman in incarnation, and transmission is a very particular form of meditation. So let's get into that. What are those special characteristics of transmission?
Well, first and foremost, it is a meditation that is done in a group formation. Probably many of your, or if not most of your listeners are aware that meditation heretofore has been done on an individual basis, sitting sometimes alone in our living room and doing meditation. But the time for meditation of the individual has come and gone, because now we are in the age of Aquarius. And what that means is that we are the recipients and beneficiaries of certain energies that stream into our planet from that constellation. And some of those great energies from Aquarius are synthesis and brotherhood. And in fact, in this new time, that will be the great leap in humanity's evolution, the realization that we are all one family. Hence, we do transmission meditation in a group. 3 people make a group. The energies that stream from the constellation Aquarius, and in fact from other solar systems, the sun, other cosmic energies that stream into the planet are put through the group, which acts as a transformer, if you will, like electrical current. A transmission meditation group handles spiritual current. And
I like the comparison that they make, or that we make, between, if you were in a power plant, you can't use the energy directly, of electricity directly. It would simply fry you. But as the energy gets transformed, gets stepped down through transformers, it gets to the point where it's a plug in the wall that is very safe to use. So I have the analogy of a transmission group as a plug in the wall where the masters can send these great energies of which they're custodian. We help them step it down to the mental level where it becomes more usable by the human family. Otherwise, as you say, as you know, Krista, it would bounce off.
Yes.
Most people.
It would bounce off the bulk of humanity. So the service aspect of transmission meditation occurs when the group members, the participants, allow those energies to be put through their energy centers or chakras. And in that way, the energies are, in fact, stepped down. And then the masters of wisdom send the energies, direct the energies into the world wherever they feel they might be needed. The group members do nothing other than sit and make their physical bodies available. The masters do all the work. It's a very, very scientific meditation, and we are in the age of Aquarius now for the next 2,150 years, plus or minus, and we will
give or take.
Give or take. So, as a lot of people will know, our solar system makes this journey around the heavens that takes about 26,000 years, and every 2,000 years or so we come into an alignment with one or other of the constellations, and during that time we receive the great energies, and the energies are different for each of the constellations. But now, and actually since the year 1675, the energies we've been receiving the energies from the constellation Aquarius, and they have been increasing in potency all of this time, and they are magnificent energies, as I said, of synthesis and brotherhood, helping to bring humanity together and helping us to realize that we are all one family. So we're sort of at the end of the Piscean age, we're at the beginning of the Aquarian age, and there's a lot of chaos in the world.
Well, as you say, these are the energies that are changing the world, and we get to use them and to be with the masters directly to feed them into the world. Detailed information is available on www.transmissionmeditation.org. We are going to be talking now about who the Masters of Wisdom are and what it is like to work directly with them. But before, I want to just give you these two very good sources of information. One is a complete website on transmission meditation, transmissionmeditation.org, where you'll find everything you would like to know after the show, and hopefully. And also, we will be providing the link to a free book entitled specifically Transmission, a Meditation for the New Age. This is one of the many books by Benjamin Creme, C-R-E-M-E, British author and esotericist, who has actually, in fact, introduced this meditation under the guidance and direction of the Master of Wisdom that he works with directly and has been doing these many, many years. So it was Benjamin Creme's master that introduced transmission, and the Masters of Wisdom. Let's talk about who they are.
They are, as you mentioned earlier, they are a group of perfected men, human beings just like us, but who have gone ahead of us in evolution, but they have stayed behind to help us. And they have always been with us, working from behind the scenes through their disciples, men and women in the world. They have, down through the millennia, have protected us. They have taught us. They have guided us. They are who we will be at some point, and so release them for higher work. They are occupy the kingdom of souls, or the spiritual kingdom, if you will. Your listeners may know that there are various kingdoms in the world. The first kingdom to be laid down was the mineral kingdom, and out of that grew the vegetable kingdom, and out of that grew the animal kingdom, and out of that grew the human kingdom. That's us. And we are growing into the spiritual kingdom. That is the next kingdom above us, and we receive energy from that kingdom. Every kingdom receives energy from the one above and grows out of the one beneath it. So the masters have gone ahead of us in evolution, and they protect us and help us and teach us and guide us, and they have inspired some of humanity's greatest ideas down through the millennia. And that is who they are. And when you join a transmission meditation group, you have the opportunity to work directly with these great masters, because they are also the custodians of all of the energies that come into planet Earth. They distribute these energies into the world wherever they think that they are needed, and sometimes they even withdraw energies to
bring about a certain situation.
And this, of course, is why we are asked not to direct the energies as the transmission group. We might think, oh, it's terrible what's going on in Syria or the Middle East or what have you, and want to send energies to those areas of the world. But in fact, it may be a withdrawal of energy to lessen the tension that is required in any particular place in any time. So that's why we're asked not to direct those energies. Krista, I just want to get back for a couple of seconds about, so our readers are clear on our readers, what am I saying? Our listeners are clear on this. We don't actually see the masters physically when we work with them. This is not like showing up at the office 9 to 5.
No. We don't see them. They have not externalized yet, but they are coming back into the world now, along with their head, who you mentioned, Maitreya, who is the world teacher for this age of Aquarius. And for the first time in 98,000 years, 98,000 years, the masters are coming back into the world along with Maitreya. We call that the externalization of the hierarchy. And they have to, at this time, among many other jobs that they have to demonstrate their consciousness on a group level. Once again, the group is so important. So they're coming back into the world. They've always helped us, and they are helping us now. But when we do transmission meditation, of course, we don't see them. They see us. They see the point in evolution for each one of us. They see our chakras and how brightly they are lit and how fast they are spinning. So they know exactly how much energy each one of us can withstand when we do transmission meditation. They are master scientists, and when we get together as a group, we are in very good hands, very good hands.
So it's actually a very safe meditation to do, even though these energies are so potent. I want to make a couple of side remarks here. When you said, Krista, that they are externalizing, this is simply that they are not all here yet as the complete group that is coming. But our information is that there are at least 14 masters who are physically in a body present in the world today. One of them is, of course, the Lord Maitreya, who is the master of all the masters. And another very well-known one, in the West at least, is the Master Jesus, who is also coming more and more into public view. Yeah. So just a quick mention of that.
Yeah.
And
well, the group acts as a bridging group, if you will, between the masters, who are the custodians of the energies, as I said, and we bridge to humanity so that these energies that are placed through our chakra systems can be, in fact, used by humanity simply, or sometimes just to top up the pool of energy that's available to everyone. So a transmission meditation group, when I do it with the groups here in Atlanta, I always remind myself that I really am working with the masters of wisdom. I am a poised channel, if you will, during the time of the meditation. What a blessing that is to be able to work with the masters. It's unbelievable. And also then to help my fellow human being, because the world, as we all know, is in dire straits right now. And we don't all have the resources to help in the way that we think we might want to. We have very busy lives. We have jobs and families that require our attention. But when we do transmission meditation, it really is a gift from the gods. I just can't say that enough. I get to work directly with the masters, even though I can't see them. I know that they exist, and I also get to help the world in a fairly simple
sometimes easy way, and I can do it as often as I want to the extent that there's a group I can be involved with. And here in Atlanta, there are several groups, and all over North America, there are dozens of transmission meditation groups. It's really a gift. I can help on so many levels.
Right, and we'll be talking more about how people can find out about transmission groups in their area if they want to try it out a little later. So just to reiterate, the masters work with the higher chakras, the energy centers. Many of you are aware of these Eastern tradition energy centers up and down the spine where there are vortices of energy that keep us healthy, for example, and that this is what the masters work with and use for the putting through this energy. You also mentioned a point in evolution at one point, Krista, and I just want to make that clear to everyone that in the spiritual journey, there are certain milestones called initiations. We'll be doing a show on that at another time, but everybody is somewhere along the continuum of the journey. They may be coming up to the first initiation, or they may be a master of wisdom who has taken the fifth initiation or higher, and we are all somewhere along that spiritual journey continuum, and that's simply why we call it point of evolution, not rocket science. So what are the personal benefits? We're wanting to talk about we've talked about the service aspect of transmission. And now I'd like to talk about the personal benefits that people can also derive from it.
So first, let me say that transmission meditation is a combination of two yogas. The first yoga is Laya Yoga, which is the yoga of the energies. We've been talking about that. And the other yoga is Karma Yoga, or the yoga of service. So as we participate in transmission meditation, that is the service aspect, and we are able to burn off some of our own personal karma. And that is a very good thing, if you ask me, because I don't know a single one of us who couldn't use some of that. So that is one of the benefits of transmission meditation, personal benefits. Also, I have noticed over the years, and I've been doing it for a number of years now, that my thinking is more clear. I'm more creative. In my job, I do some writing from time to time, and I've noticed over the years that it's easier for me to find the right word, to put it in a sentence, to be more coherent. That is a creative, personal aspect is writing for me. It's not just about painting, but that's a creative thing for me.
Also clarity of mind, clarity of thinking that goes with the creative aspect.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, for me anyway, one of the greatest personal benefits is a growing detachment from my emotions. So many of us are what we call astrally polarized. That means that the seat of our consciousness is in our solar plexus, and we live our lives through our emotions. I always think of the analogy of when we're about to make a big decision, we often say to ourselves, well, I think I'll sleep on it. And I believe that the reason we say that to ourselves and the reason we do that is to take the emotion out of the decision, because the emotions, as we know, they lead us astray all the time. I mean, there's anger and self-pity and pride, and the list goes on and on. But if you do transmission meditation and you are serious about it, and in fact, it's so potent that in a year's concentrated effort of doing transmission meditation, you can make the same spiritual progress as if you had been doing 10 or 15 or even 20 years of any other kind of meditation. It is incredibly potent. And for me, the detachment from emotions, I still have a lot of work to do. I'm not kidding myself here or anybody else, but I have been helped tremendously. It's like, I say it's like a moat around a castle. You're in the castle and you see the emotions on the other side of the moat, but they don't get to come across the moat, or if they do, they're lessened in potency, and they don't affect me as they used to when I first started this. So to me, that is a tremendous benefit, detachment from the emotions. And then sometimes people who participate in transmission meditation may get a healing of some kind. I've been at public meditations before where one lady in particular who had several different ailments came up to us at the end and said that she knew that she had gotten a healing. And so sometimes that is possible for people depending on their personal karma.
Yes, people do report this kind of thing. And of course it all makes sense, doesn't it? Because it is impossible to serve as this step-down transformer, this plug in the wall for these very potent energies to be flowing through our chakra system. It's impossible to do that without having some effect of those energies on us. And a beneficial effect, of course. So that all makes great sense. And you see the progress over the years as well. I just wanted to make one other point, that this is not to say that transmission meditation is the only meditation that we should be doing. It is a particular form of group meditation, yes, and we've explained that. But this is not to say that people need give up their own personal meditation that they may do, meditation that they may have been given by a guru or any other form of prayer. There's no need to stop any of your own personal practices of that type. In fact, when you do transmission meditation, it actually helps to potentize any other form of service or meditation that you may be doing. So that to me is another benefit.
That's a very good point. I had forgotten that. It's not a situation of either or. It, as you said, it enhances any other kind of service activity that you do. You can do it in addition to whatever else you are doing.
Right, and if you happen to be a devout, fill in the name of your religion. If you happen to be a devout person, you do not have to give up any of your beliefs or religious practices at all. You don't even have to give up your bad habits like smoking. It's not that kind of thing. It's not that kind of thing. So we will be getting around to describing exactly how to do transmission. That's our next on our agenda. But I want to remind people of a couple of places where you can go to get more information after the show. The first, as I mentioned before, is www.transmissionmeditation.org. And if we don't get time to finish all of our program today, you can certainly go there and find out whatever information you need more clarity on. And of course, the free book download on our website. Let's start talking about how one goes about forming a group.
All right. So 3 people make up a group. The more, the better, because every added person to the 3 enables the masters to send even more energy through the group. 3 people make up a triangle, and that geometric form allows energies to be put through the group. So the more people that participate, the more energies, and that's a very good thing.
Right, and let's remind people that you don't need to be an experienced meditator. No experience is required, just the desire to serve.
Exactly.
And I wanted to make the point as well that transmission meditation is always free of charge. It's usually or very often held in people's homes, sometimes in halls, and then there might be a donation basket to help pay for the rental of the hall or something like that. But there is never any charge for transmission itself. I want people to know that very clearly. So let's carry on then. A minimum of 3 people, but the more the better. And then what happens during the transmission?
So the group starts the transmission by saying aloud together the Great Invocation, which is a magnificent prayer that was given out in 1945 by Maitreya right at the end of World War II. Groups all over the world use this prayer, and it has an invocative effect. When it is sounded aloud in the group, it's like a buzzer that goes off for the masters, and they know that, oh, there's that group in Atlanta, Georgia, in that living room. It's Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m., so we will send the energies for those who are sitting in the living room. And that is how we alert the Masters of Wisdom that there is a group ready to do the transmission. It's really quite simple. And as you say, it is always free. Years ago, I started out doing transcendental meditation, but it was too difficult for my mind at that time. It required too much concentration. So I didn't have the capacity to do it back then and didn't stay with it. But transmission meditation requires no experience whatsoever. You simply sit with the group, let the masters do all the work, put the energies through your chakras, and most importantly, to the extent that you can hold your attention at the energy center that is right between the eyebrows. That is called the ajna center. And when you hold your attention there at that center, it creates a channel between your physical brain and your soul, and the energies then come through that channel, and that is when you are engaged in transmission meditation. Now, if you're like me, and I hope that your listeners aren't too much like me, but you will find that in practice your attention will wander quite a bit, and that's to be expected. But the master scientists, they're just marvelous. They created a technique to help bring our attention back to the ajna, and that is when you notice that your attention has wandered and you're thinking about, oh, did I turn off the iron, or, oh, I have to prepare dinner. All you have to do is think to yourself, Om. Think Om, and your attention will come back automatically to the ajna center, and then you are once again aligned, and then you're participating in the meditation. And you think Om as often as you need to. You don't meditate on it. You don't sit there and think Om, Om, Om. No, it's not that. But when you notice that your attention has wandered, simply think to yourself, and you don't say it out loud, you think to yourself, Om, your attention automatically comes back to the ajna, and once again you are participating in the meditation, and the energies are coming through you.
Before we go on, Krista, is there anyone who should not do transmission?
Yes, there is. That's a very good question. No one under the age of 12 should participate in transmission meditation, and the reason for that is that children of that age, their chakras are not fully formed, not developed enough to withstand the energies. So if you're under the age of 12, wait a year so that you can participate. Also, people who may have heart problems, or any kind of mental imbalance, the energies can be overstimulating to them, and so they should not participate either. And no pets. Don't have any pets in the room where you are meditating. The energies are just too strong for your pets. Anyone else from the age of 12 and above to 1200, you can do transmission meditation. You can do it for the rest of this life and the next life, and it's a service that will never go away. So yes, those are the contraindications. Otherwise, I say get to it and do it. Do the world a favor. It needs your help, and you can help yourself at the same time. It's wonderful. I highly recommend it.
I'm picking up on when you mentioned that the energies are quite strong, or can be quite strong, Krista. Do people actually feel them?
That's a good
during
question.
The transmission?
That's a very good question, Diana. Some do, but some people do not. I can tell you that when I first started transmission meditation, I didn't feel a thing. And looking back, I asked myself the question, why on earth did I stay in something? I had no idea if anything was actually happening. I hoped that I was holding my attention at the ajna, but there was nothing to tell me that I was doing it, that I was engaged in it. Well, of course, the answer to that I know now is that my soul was prompting me to do it, so that I had to do it and I had to stay in it. Don't worry about not feeling anything if you are participating in it. As I said, a lot of people do not. But some do feel the energies. I do feel them now. Sometimes I'll feel them as a cap on the top of my head. Sometimes my throat chakra will get a little tune-up, and you might cough during the meditation. Sometimes I feel it in my heart chakra, which is not the physical heart, but it is the heart chakra, which is just to the right of the middle of your chest. And that is, you will feel those energies sort of, at least I do, in an expansive way. So some people do feel the energies, but some don't. And I wouldn't be concerned if you don't feel them. Just stay with it. Consistency is an important aspect of doing transmission meditation. Once you start, I would do it for as long as you can. Some groups do it for, maybe 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour. Some groups do 3 hours several times a week, and there are groups that go even longer than that. But consistency is a main theme for transmission meditation. And when you think about it, I mean, it's a group meditation. So once you join the group, more energy can be put through the group because you are there. So if you leave, of course, the same amount of energy is withdrawn. It's a very simple meditation. It requires no training, as we've said. You just simply sit there very comfortably. There's no special breathing, and just hold your attention at the ajna and let the masters do the work.
Absolutely. But by the same token, let us mention that this is not a place where you receive messages from the masters or you get in touch with great beings in the astral plane or anything like that. There is no form of channeling of this nature involved. It's strictly the transmission of energy through the chakras. So people should not be listening for messages at that time.
Yeah, that's a good point, Diana.
Yeah, and I just wanted to mention as well, you were talking about leaving the room. I don't want people to feel guilty about the 1,061 triangles they're removing when they leave. But if you do need a bathroom break, or if you have to leave before the end of the transmission, you simply get up quietly and go. And if you come back, you come back quietly, and that's all there is to it. It's recommended that when you start transmission, you try to do it, 3-4 weeks in a row so that you can begin to get a better sense of what's going on. It's like anything else. First time round, you don't really,
grok to the whole extent of what's happening. So that I always suggest that people try to come to several sessions. And of course, the regularity is the important thing. So if you're in a transmission group, the masters will know that, Tuesday night, 7 o'clock in Krista's living room, there will be a group. And that's a very, very important factor. It's the setting up of a rhythm of service.
We have free will, so the important thing is to start the meditation together. And if you have to leave, as you said, you just get up quietly and leave the room. No one's free will is ever infringed, and that's an important thing.
Absolutely. Now, if it's of any interest to you to try out transmission meditation, which is, as Krista says, and I certainly agree, one of the most powerful ways that you can be in service to the world today. All of the groups are formed by networking. It's a very loose organization. You simply, make an engagement to come at that particular time and place where your group is meeting. But if you move away, you can go to another transmission group. If you find it's not your cup of tea, you can leave it. All of the groups are formed by networking. So there is a Contact Us page on the website, transmissionmeditation.org. If you are looking for a transmission group in your area, you can simply fill out that form, and a volunteer will be in touch with you to provide information. The contact whose name is given has made their phone number available. No addresses are ever given out. The contact is arranged between you and the person who is hosting the transmission meditation. Introduction to transmission, so we welcome people to get it from the horse's mouth, as it were, by tuning in to Benjamin Creme in those videos. And of course, to help you along with the transmission, there is the wonderful little book called Transmission, A Meditation for the New Age. It's a question and answer form book with all kinds of topics. Things like, how do you know you're aligned? How do you know that your attention is correctly focused at the ajna by using the om, etc.? So there are many, many other facets that we don't have time to go into today, but that are discussed on throughout that book. Krista, it's almost the end of our time already. Do you have any last words for our listeners?
Well, I can say this. Transmission meditation, if you decide to do it, it will provide you with a simple yet powerfully effective way to serve the plan of evolution for the world, to serve humanity, and to help get us through this very chaotic time that we are all living through. And it will give you the opportunity to work with those great beings, the masters of wisdom. I can't stress that enough. I think being the bridging group between the masters and humanity is one of the gifts of the world. In my estimation, if you do it, you will benefit personally as well. Transmission meditation is just a gift from the gods. I say run, don't walk to your nearest transmission meditation group.
And I second that, Krista. Thanks for being our guest today. It's been a delight having you. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Thank you. And I hope we have many, many people now who are either on their way to transmission sometime this week and will remember what a benefit it is to be able to serve in this way. Or if you're new and this is of any interest whatever, please go ahead. We've given you several ways that you can find out how you can work directly with the Masters of Wisdom in service to the evolution of the planet, of humanity, and of yourself. Bye for now. Have a really good week.
And now for the treat I promised you earlier, to meditate together. As most of us are aware, our world has arrived at a moment of profound transformation. As millions call for peace and justice, Many are seeking ways to help serve the world, and at the same time looking for an effective means of personal spiritual development. Transmission meditation is a way to do both. Introduced in 1974 by a master of spiritual wisdom, transmission is a group meditation that makes available the benevolent energies pouring into the planet in an ever-mounting rhythm and potency. Transmission groups worldwide receive and transform these energies sent by a group of extraordinary teachers, the Masters of Wisdom, led by Maitreya, the World Teacher. Thus stepped down, these energies can be used in the betterment of all life on Earth. This meditation also has a salutary effect on the individual participating in the meditation. It is safe, scientific, non-denominational, and will not interfere with any other religious or spiritual practice. In fact, it will just enhance them. So it's for the religious and non-religious alike. So now, just focus your attention at the chakra center between the eyebrows, called the Ajna Center, which is the center of the will. And let's read together the great invocation and meditate as long as you wish, holding your attention there when it drifts away by thinking Om silently, inwardly. The great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Watch a first-hand experience with E.T. Craft in this episode called Beneficent UFO Contacts for the New Paradigm.
And then one of these crafts flew down fairly low over the trees. And there was no sound at all. And they seemed to have short wings, like a shuttlecraft. And they were like a brilliant white light, white bright color.
It doesn't really look like a regular star, but you have to be looking at the sky to see it.
They're all these signs are meant to alert us to and give us a sense of hope and to help us to tune into wonder and become aware of these higher realities and the fact that we're not alone and that we have extraordinary help.
This show has been a production of planetarymakeover.org.